Hi, I'm Lisa Tarr, pediatric physical therapist and CEO and founder of First Steps Pediatric Therapy and First Steps Clinic. And we provide occupational and physical therapy services, and we provide services in our clinic, virtually, as well as home base. So today I'm here to talk to you about, is your child's sensory sensitivity making it hard for your child to actually eat? So what I want to mention is today sensory feeding challenges are pretty common, and then what they are, how to spot them, and then what you can do to help. So this is for parents who have kids that sometimes are often gagging on certain textures, avoiding entire food groups, or they're letting their food go cold at the dinner table, or they don't like their food touching, or you have meltdowns at the dinner table. So you're not alone, and your kids are not just being picky. Really, what are the sensory feeding challenges? Pretty common is sensory challenges occur when your child's brain processes your food's taste, textures, smells, and then it just really becomes all very overwhelming, and it actually becomes extremely stressful to eat the food or manage the food in your mouth, and it becomes very stressful and versus enjoyable. And statistically, studies actually show up to 80% of children with sensory processing difficulties actually have some type of feeding issue. So whether your sensory kids are either avoidant in their behavior, this is basically kind of their nervous system reacting to what they really feel like is a true threat. So kind of thinking back to that fight or flight activity is they are fleeing from the food that you've cooked them for dinner. So it's not about hurting your feelings or those types of things or how much you worked. It is about how their brain is processing, and they're looking at this food as like a true threat. All right, signs that your kids might have a sensory feeding challenge. So common things that you'll see is that they're refusing foods based upon like a texture or a temperature or a particular color. You'll be gagging or spitting or vomiting when they're trying new foods. You're having meltdowns during mealtime. They might actually have preference for very bland things or like even really crunchy foods. And they might like the same 5 foods, and you can't feed them anything but those 5 foods. And they might have difficulty sitting at the dinner table. So if you feel like you're constantly negotiating every bite with your child, this could be why they could have a sensory processing difficulty, as well as, that's rolling over into feeding challenges. So some tips to help you guys as parents to help with kids with sensory feeding challenges at home is that we're going to just start with, we're going to go back to very early on. So we're going to just start with play. So you're going to play with the food, you're going to explore it, you're going to actually touch it, you'll play with it, you'll smell it, you'll smash it, you'll do all of those things. Another activity that you guys can help decrease the stress around mealtimes is predictable mealtimes, and a routine actually helps. So having them in the same time of day, same spot, always putting them at the table, their high chair, what have you, and keeping that routine is very helpful. And then for the littles, when you're introducing a new food, you can have kind of like a no thank you cup or bowl. So you could let them try it, and then instead of them pushing it out of their mouth and having this be the big fight, is that they can just even have a cup, or you have a cup to help manipulate that they can actually try the food in their mouth, and then they can spit it back out. And so that is like a baby step. And then most importantly, with any kids with feeding challenges, is really we don't want to force fights on kids. And we want to make sure that they're feeling in control, because if they feel dysregulated, their nervous system's really going to spike, and it's going to go into that fight or flight activity, and that's going to be when you're seeing those behaviors. And so the one thing that the kids actually have control over as kids is they have control what goes in their mouth, and they have what comes out of their body. So a lot of times kids that have difficulty with feeding, they actually have a lot of constipation issues and some challenges there because they're actually controlling voiding on some of those activities. When is it time to see a pediatric occupational therapist or seek help for feeding is when your child is actually, when they're eating is affecting their growth, is a prime time. They're affecting their actual weight gain. Anytime it's affecting daily routines or it's impacting that family time, it's really time to call in for some support for you. And pediatric occupational therapists who specialize in feeding also work on desensitizing your child's sensory system. They don't and in addition to helping introduce new foods and food exploration, and then trying to help you as a family make sure that meal times and snack are really a safe and positive environment. First Steps is here to help you get that support that you need that's going to make a huge difference in your guys' life, to help you with your child on what they eat, but then that really how they feel about eating. So your child really isn't being difficult. The eating in general just really feels difficult to them, and we're here to support you and we can help. So if you have any questions or would you like to schedule an evaluation, please reach out to us at 720-989-0179 or check us out at firststepspediatric.com. And please share or like this with another parent that might like to hear it.